Hi, I'm Bethany Warren, and you are joining me to listen to the podcast of our Millwall fan show with the No One Likes Us Talking team, which is available every Friday at 8 p.m.
It's Friday night, and I'm your host, Gary Staff, and I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Bethany Warren, Patricia Maslin, and Ted Robinson.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
So, hi Pat. I hear you've been good evening. I hear you've been spending a lot of time confusing simple problems on Eamon's timeline on Facebook.
No, I don't really go on it. So when I see something, I just answer, and then he tells me off for, I don't know, for not reading it properly.
Hi Bethany, how was the world of retail this week? And great to see you've been posting lots of pictures on the world of Facebook.
Yeah, retail is retail. I think everyone's sort of used to just wearing masks now, so that's going okay. But everything's getting a little bit busier with the back to school rush.
Excellent.
So, it's all fun and games.
Fantastic. And of course, Ted, I hear you picked up Stan on Wednesday before going over the MCT and exchanged the laptop at the same time. So how was the day over the Millwall Community Trust?
Well, Gal, it was I thought you were going to say, where was the journey with Stan? I thought, I can't say that on here. But no, it's a fantastic day at the MCT. I'd say I recommend it to anybody to have a go over there and stick their head in and see what the things that they do. And it's not publicised enough, to be quite honest. I can't put enough praise on them. I'm one of these people that sees and reads these things and don't very often really get out there and see it for myself. Having done it yesterday, I think it's a fantastic place, and it'll get all my support from now on in. Not that it didn't have, but I think it's such a worthy place and a worthy cause and everything they do. This is a first for me tonight, though, Gal, being a rose between two thorns with these two young ladies.
I know. You're a very lucky man. You're a very lucky man.
Well, we'll see.
Well, it's definitely a thorn there. I'm not so sure about Bethany, but...
we've got a section later on that you can all get your teeth into, so we can have a few opinions back down there.
Oh, I'm not opinionated at all.
Oh, dear.
Before I introduce our first guest, I want to mention the passing of ex-Lion Alan Welsh. Alan had two spells for the Lions in 1965 and 1975. Unfortunately, Alan only played 15 times for the Lions over those two spells. Alan was a well-respected gentleman, and people said that once he met you, he never forgot you. Rest in peace, Alan. So now I'll move on to our first guest tonight. He joined us on loan twice in March 2009 and then September 2009 before signing on for a fee of just over £200,000 for 3 seasons joining Kenny Jackett's team. During his time with the Lions, he played 146 times, scoring 18 goals, which a few of them were quite special. Welcome to the show, James.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. James, firstly, commiserations for losing out on the playoff final. Hopefully Oxford will come back stronger next season.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was disappointing. I think we all believed that we could win that game, but it wasn't meant to be. And we've got to park that and try go again next season.
Exactly. Look at the Lions; they've done it a few times on back-to-back Wembley appearances. So look on that for preparation.
I think they had like three appearances at Wembley within the space of 2 years, didn't they? So
yeah, exactly. Okay, so James, you had 2 loan spells with Kenny before he got his man. How did it finally come about when the permanent move joined?
I think it was after they'd been promoted to the Championship. I was at Reading at the time in the Championship, and I really enjoyed my time there on loan. Kenny just said, would it be something I was interested in? And obviously I was made to feel really welcome there when I first joined, and it sort of felt like a no-brainer, especially as Millwall have been newly promoted to the Championship. It just seemed the perfect fit at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
James, shame about not making it into the Championship this year. I was looking forward to you coming back down to the Den and giving you a proper Millwall welcome, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been a good thing, Tom. I would have enjoyed it. I got a few pelters there last time, to say the least, when I came back with Wolves. So it was all fun though.
Oh, well, I never meant it anyway, James. Don't worry. Day when you was playing for Mill, who was the main men in the dressing room there? Who was the people that sort of stood up and was the ones that were the leaders, if you like to call it that?
We had a lot of characters back then. We obviously had Dunny and Fordy and Robbo. So, and obviously even Chopper. Chopper was a big character. So, all of them were great. Great leaders on and off the pitch.
James, I never really thought Chopper was that sort of person, but obviously you know him better than me. Did you think that this guy's going to be a manager one day?
I think he was such a Millwall legend that I think he was always going to become some form of coach for Millwall. Obviously, you never knew what level that was going to be, and obviously he had to work his way up there. But he was always interested in coaching, even from when I was young. He was always giving me pointers. And I'm sure when the chance came along for him, it just felt like the perfect fit.
Hello, James. It's Pat.
Hi, Pat.
One of the big away games that really sticks in my mind that you played was that semi-final up at Ellen Road.
Oh, yes.
Abdu scored the equaliser, didn't he, right near the end? And the players were on the pitch long after it finished. What were the celebrations like in the dressing rooms there?
Yeah, obviously it was amazing. It was sort of bittersweet for myself because after that game I knew I couldn't play in the final. My loan was actually finishing at 12 o'clock the night before the final, and I think the final kicked off at 12 the next day. So I was a bit disappointed, but obviously buzzing that all the boys had pulled together, and it was a great game, wasn't it? It was ferocious. The atmosphere was really intense.
Oh, it was. It certainly was.
So was the home game, though. I think we were a little bit disappointed to not be further ahead from the home game. I think we really played well at home in that first leg. It was great to get to Wembley, and unfortunately we didn't quite make it that time. But the year after, they'd done the business.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Pal. Just to say to James that I've got to tell you that, as sad as it sounds, that was the greatest night of my life. That one at Leeds away. I've never enjoyed it. Of all the football matches I've watched in my time, there was no sweeter one than that one, I've got to tell you.
It was a right old ding-dong, wasn't it? And especially with so much at stake, feeling of beating them at their place was great.
Hi, James, it's Bethany.
Hi, Beth.
Nice to speak to you.
You too.
What was it like working for Kenny Jackett?
Yeah, obviously me and him had a really good relationship. And obviously I ended up following him to Wolves. So, it was kind of one of those ones that he knew when he had to, I wouldn't say discipline me, but tell me when I'm not doing well. And almost when I was doing well, he just left me alone. He didn't say anything to me. So it kind of just all fell into place really well. We got on well. He wasn't the biggest talker in terms of off the pitch. He kept himself quite to himself, but that was fine for me, and it really worked. And he had the respect of all the boys, which is a massive thing for the manager.
You did get to go to Wembley with Millwall, though, didn't you? The FA Cup semi-final, Wigan.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What was that like walking out that day?
Yeah, it was amazing. To see all the Millwall fans there, it was a rocking atmosphere to say the least, and it was a very tough game. We were disappointed, but we always knew it was going to be difficult. And obviously they went on to win the cup that year, but just to get there and be involved in an FA Cup semi-finals, especially for a club like Millwall, was fantastic.
And of course, also, James, you played in what we call a bit of a derby against West Ham. That was always quite a nice game to be involved in.
Yeah, I think I played the home and away game, but I think it was the season after there had been just a small bit of trouble. So they made both the kickoffs at 12 o'clock, which it always kills the atmosphere a little bit. It was definitely obviously a great atmosphere, but for me, probably the best games were against Leeds. For some reason, the atmosphere was just always electric. They were my favourite games to play in Millwall Leeds.
Was you? What about when Kenny left, James? Was that a bit of a shock to you? I mean, I think it caught us all a little bit unawares.
Yeah, I think so. I think, we I can't remember when it actually officially got released, but I think it was the day after the end of the season he came in and sort of called everyone in, and we were like, oh, that's strange. You don't normally have a meeting that soon after the end of a season. And obviously he told us his decision, and I think we all sort of respected it. And I think more of us were just wondering what was next going forward. And obviously then Lomas got the job, which didn't quite work out for me.
Didn't work out for any of us.
Yeah, we obviously didn't gel, and that was just one of the reasons why I thought it was time for a new challenge, a new club. Just because, sometimes when it wasn't that we didn't see eye to eye, it was just one of those things. It wasn't natural, and that was ultimately why I felt like it was time for a new challenge. I mean, John Ferrelson was keen to keep me at the club, but I didn't think it was right to do that when you and the manager obviously aren't quite on the same page.
Cool. James, I just want to ask you a bit more about the FA Cup run as well. You play much during the actual run up to... I know you got missed out on the quarter-final, didn't you, for injury as well?
Yeah, I kind of thought like I was never going to get to Wembley at that point, because obviously I'd missed out already. The first year when we lost in the playoff finals because of my loan. Then the second year I'd gone back to Reading because I had done my hamstring, and then I think it was 5 or 6 weeks before the semi-final I had a grade 3 tear in my knee, in the lateral ligament in my knee. In the first scan I basically got told that my season was done. And luckily I went and saw a specialist, and he believed that I could get back in 5 weeks. And that's one thing I'm always going to be grateful to Kenny for, is that I literally trained 2 or 3 days, I think it was, before that semi-final, and he still decided to play me. So that was massive. Brilliant. I think he knew how much that meant to me as well. Obviously missing out twice already. So I'll always be grateful for that.
Excellent. Talking about playing at Wembley though, obviously going back to that unfortunate time a few weeks ago, what was it like playing in Wembley with no one there?
Yeah, it was strange. Obviously, it's still amazing to go to such an iconic place and play a game of football, but it was definitely a strange feeling. I remember when I first went there with Millwall, and walking out, it was almost scarier when it was empty. When all the fans are there, that's kind of what you're used to, seeing fans. But when it's empty, it just feels eerie, because it is... The stand just goes so high. It was strange. It was a shame. Obviously, there's been a lot more important things going on in the world, so I completely understand why there was no one there. But I'm sure even Wickham would have wanted all their fans there to celebrate that day.
Yeah, of course.
I tell you, James, the goals. I noticed we said you scored 18 goals, but I can only remember you scoring special goals. And I got to apologise to you, because the one you scored at Brentford, some shot, but I was actually shouting and hollering at you to get the ball into the box, and you sort of cut inside, and I did call your name. Sorry, mate. I got a bit. And then you and it went in the top corner. So it just shows you know more about football than me, mate. But it was quite a strike that day. And you've done another one at Holmes, very similar to that. And I can't quite remember who the game it was against.
I think that was Swindon, wasn't it?
Swindon.
It was Swindon, yeah.
I think it was like the 92nd minute, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's right. Yes, it was. Yeah. That must be the
hat-trick as well. I remember James getting a hat-trick on one game. Oh.
Yeah, that was against Tranmere, and then John the day after, didn't he?
Yeah.
I forgot about the hat-trick. You should have scored at least 23 goals in. 18's not enough, mate. You got a hat-trick in one game. But it must be a sweet feeling when you strike a ball like that, though, James. Both of them games, like you say, 92nd minute against Swindon, and the Brentford one was equally as important.
Yeah, obviously it's nice to score goals. I remember scoring another one at Brentford away from Millwall, and I remember running off celebrating backwards, and the last joke was on me because I fell flat on my face.
I think I remember that.
Basically, I turned around and saw Fordy, and obviously he's such a big man that I think I bricked it a little bit and then just completely stamped it.
You're not alone with that one, though, James. There's a bit of people like that.
Dear. Well, James, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. Thank you for your time again tonight. But just one last question from me. How do you think Millwall will get on this season? I know it's still strange times for the first couple of games, but how do you think they will get on this season?
Yeah, I think they'll compete again. You know, I'm really close friends with Jeb Wallace, so you know, we keep in contact sort of once a month, and he's really been enjoying his time there, and he's seen a change as well since Gary Rowett's come in. He said it's been a little bit more football based, and he's enjoying it. And from the games I watched this season, the club looks like it's getting stronger and stronger. So there's no reason why they can't compete. You know that they run close to the playoffs last year, and you know why can't they do it again?
About Jed, how did you become friends then?
Is that the Reading link?
No, we played together at Wolves. So
of course,
Kenny signed him at Wolves, and then he obviously came on loan from Wolves to you guys, and I think he just enjoyed it. And you know, he obviously got promoted through the playoffs with yourself, and you know, I came and watched that game at Wembley, so it was nice to watch Millwall in the stand at Wembley as well. So I feel like Millwall were just always at Wembley.
It's our second home. Oh, brilliant. Well, thanks, James, for everything. And take care and good luck with your Oxford next season.
Thank you very much. Go steady, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, James.
Thanks, James. Bye-bye. Take care. Well, we'll take a break there and listen to our Jeff talking about the Lionesses. But first, hear from Kai from Millwall Fan TV.
Hey, I'm Kai from Millwall Fan TV. On Millwall Fan TV, I cover pre-match predictions, post-match analysis, and a bit of full-time reaction when we can go to the games. Also, quite a few X-Lines chats on my YouTube, actually, as we speak right now. I've got some Martin Wolford, Scott Barron, that just a couple to name a few. So do it for the love of Millwall. Absolutely love Millwall, and let's hope we can push on next year and make the playoffs. And if you could subscribe to Millwall Fan TV, that'd be absolutely amazing. And hopefully we can follow the journey together. Comedy Lines.
Earlier this week, I met up with one of the panellists from the No One Likes Us Talking team, Mr. Jeff Burnage. He wanted to say a few words about the Lionesses' progress over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, good evening, Gary. Good evening, everybody. Last week was the second of the pre-season friendlies, and I was surprised but very impressed. They've chosen very, very stiff opposition for their pre-season games, particularly as they got a lot of new players, and it did catch up with them last week. They played Billericay, who would have been in the National League this season if the leagues hadn't been stopped so early by the FA. We were well beaten in the first half. But Katie and Nick must have done a very good half-time team talk, because the girls came out with a much better attitude. Katie changed the system to a 4-4-2. And there was an improvement. That is a system that inexperienced players can follow more easily, so that was a good decision. I'm going to support them all I can this season, particularly before the men start, but I don't think Katie and Nick are going to need a lot of support, because on the day and previous week it was extremely professional, and I'm impressed with that. In the meantime, since then, we've signed 2 new players. But if anyone listening that doesn't follow the Lionesses on Twitter, it's Millwall_LTC, L for Lionesses, TC. We've had to change that since the breakaway last year of the previous Millwall Lionesses team. Everyone knows what happened there. So please follow that. The media team do fantastic things on that site, and again, it makes the club look very professional, and I'm very optimistic that over the next 2 or 3 years we will return to the level that we left so unfairly a year ago. In the second half last week, we only conceded 1 goal. I've got to be honest, we conceded 7 in the first half, but don't be too despondent. We're a lot of new players, very young, and Billericay are really, really good and very mature, very grown-up adult players. It was too much, but the second half, after the team talk that Katie and Nick gave, was much better. This week we have had the fixtures for our first league game, which is on Sunday the 13th of September. We've got an away game with Stevenage. That will be quite tough. That's probably nearly as tough as we can get for a start in the Eastern Region League Division 1. So that's the 13th of September away at Stevenage. We may possibly play in the FA Cup before then. It does start the week before, but more than likely it'll be the following week, the 20th. All I can say is that I think if people want to come and see the Lionesses at St Paul's, it's free to go in. I'm not sure when we'll be allowed to do it without it being behind closed doors, but the kind of crowds that we will get, you can distance yourself easily from each other. So I'm optimistic that will happen reasonably soon. Under the Millwall Community Trust, they made the appointment of Katie and Nick, but they're doing this in collaboration with the Millwall Supporters Club, who are doing the media stuff and the admin stuff. And so far, it looks like being a really good partnership. Katie and Nick have been given the job of strengthening the team from last year, which they're busy doing. But it looks like they've got a difficult task to combine both developing the players, very young players, many of them 16 straight out of junior football, but also needed to get promotion at the first time of asking. So it's going to be exciting. They're going to need support. But as I said earlier, it's very professional, both on the management and the media side. And I recommend anybody to go onto that Millwall_LTC Twitter feed. With that, let's look forward to Sunday, where again we're playing London Bees. Now they're in the Championship, so they're in the top 20 clubs in the country, managed by our former manager Lee Birch. That's going to be an extremely tough game again, and it's certainly finding out which players are not up for it. And I'll be going, if I'm allowed in. I'll probably be on the door making sure that you lot can't come in. But there will be a report on Twitter, and I hope everyone follows that. That's all I've got to say, really, Gary.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Jeff. And come on, you Lionesses.
Indeed.
Thanks again, Jeff. So, guys, the fixture list was out today. We already knew we would be playing Crawley in the League Cup first round, which includes a link-up with fellow Lion Tony Craig. But what games did you look out for first when the fixtures were released? The two I looked for last season was Leeds and Charlton. However, both have left us this year. However, Watford had just come down and my father-in-law is a massive Hornet, so that was the first one I looked out for this time around. Right, let's start with Ted. Who did you look out for first?
Do you know what? I'm looking out for QPR because that game at the end of last season where let's face it, they stuffed us really in the first half. It rolled me so much that, losing Charlton out of the division and losing Leeds, as Pat said earlier, it's just got me thinking, I've got a dislike for QPR now that I didn't think I ever had, but I have, because we never seem to beat them at their place. I can't remember us winning a game at QPR, which is pretty big. So, and plus they're probably our derby next year, and at QPR, I suppose. But them and Brentford, always the London games. But a special one also will be Bournemouth. And I like a trip down to Bournemouth, so yeah, they're the games that I looked out for.
Okay, then over to you, Pat.
Yeah, now we've lost Charlton and Leeds. To me, it sort of lost some of the shine. I usually look out for dates more than actual teams. I mean, it's nice to be at home Boxing Day. It's nice to be at home last game of the season, especially next year. Hopefully, we'll be vying for the playoffs or even automatic. And to have that last game at home in front of your fans is absolutely brilliant. I look forward to Bournemouth as long as it's not a Tuesday night, which it probably will end up being. Other than that, I think our big grudge game would probably be Birmingham. I mean, ever since 1972, we've not actually got on with them very well. And there's not much else in the division at the moment. I think that would be the big one this year. And if we can go away, I like Carrow Road. I always like going up to Norwich. But it'd just be nice to get back to the Den, watch anyone, just watch them playing football. That's all I'm looking forward to.
We don't get on very well with Birmingham. There's not many clubs we get on well with, Pat. I wouldn't single Birmingham out. I'll put it this way, Gary. I don't think there'd be many clubs that we've got to play this year that'd be looking out for the fixture against Millwall.
That's true.
I agree with that. And what about you, Bethany?
Yeah, we're kind of the same sentiment, really. Now that Leeds and Charlton have got, and I wouldn't say I was too excited to look out for one. The only one that I really looked for was Cardiff, purely on the basis that Neil's there. So it's always interesting to see how we do up against him now. But a lot of the time, whenever the fixture list comes out, I don't really anticipate too much. I just like to wait and see where the away games are, if the Boxing Day games make sense. Yeah, no, I just look forward to it and like to see what happens when it happens.
Yeah, I always try to add in my birthday as well. I always like to be at home on my birthday.
Yeah, I've never ever had a game on my birthday, so hopefully one year I will get one.
Fingers crossed. Interesting though, Ted, you say about QPR. I didn't realise that until they mentioned it on the iFollow at the second to last game of the season. It's all like 20, 30 years or something we've never won a...
Well, do you know what, Gail? I mean, I know it was a a vital game in our season this year, and we needed a result to push us on and whatever. And coming up to that game, I felt really uneasy about it because of that reason. There's certain sides that you feel like are a bit of a bogey side to you now, and funny enough, I never worry about QPR at home, but QPR away has always been, for whatever reason, a difficult game for us. I remember losing in a cup quarter final there, 1-0.
That's right.
Damien Webber, was it own goal, I believe, or something like that. And
didn't they, in 85, didn't they score a last minute, like 5 minutes ago, a penalty?
5 minutes ago, yeah. And they wasn't really the better team in the game. But it's just one of them grounds where we just don't ever really seem to get a result. And so that first half against them, I must have been the only Millwall fan that wasn't shocked by it. It just sort of felt this is QPR again, if you know what I mean. It is a funny ground. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's a ground that you would think would suit us because the fans are right on top of it. And, I don't particularly like going there for the fact that the stands are that old. I can't, if I sat in really try to force you to sit down there, you can't get your knees in. But, it was just a funny fixture. I'll tell you another one I thought of, and it's only because I've had a dislike for them because of what they was doing in the Premier League, and that's Watford. And what they done to Nigel Pearson at the end of last season was nothing short of disgusting, in my opinion. But then I like to see owners that muck around like that lose out, and they lost out last year, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they finish up struggling a bit this year. And hopefully we can make them struggle. But I do have better memories of Watford because obviously the Neil Harris goal will always stay in the memory. I don't think for all these silly hard men of our club, every one of them had a tear in their eye, I think, when that went in. So, so better memories of Watford than QPR, without a doubt.
Yeah, indeed. Well, brilliant. Thanks, guys. And it's so interesting to hear where your eyes go first.
Bethany Warren here again. Thanks for listening to our show. Don't forget, Love Sport Radio is now mothballed pending change in current conditions. You can still listen, though, to music both online and on DAB. Podcasts are available on demand. Hopefully, we'll be back on the air with them when normality returns to the marketplace.
I'm Gary, and I'm back with the No One Likes Us talking team of Bethany Warren, Patricia Maslin and Ted Robinson. Next up, we turn to our Fan with the Backroom Staff section. In the back room tonight, we talk to a man that has been presenting a show on the Love the Beat radio, Lewisham. The new studio for Love the Beat is based at the Civic Suite in Lewisham, but he is still in the isolation and unable to use it. He is a wheelchair user and a season ticket holder for a great number of years, but started going to Millwall in the 1970s. You can regularly see him in the kitchen stand where he hopes to return when some form of normality returns. It is that music man and larger-than-life voice at the rear of the seating at the den. We welcome again Ozzy. Welcome, Ozzy.
Hello, hello, folks. All right, you okay?
Evening, Ozzy.
Evening.
Evening.
Ozzy, how are you coping in these strange times?
It's been a bit weird, but I'm not institutionalised. I've been shielding since 15th of March, and I've had a lot of support around me, which has been really good. My family have been supporting us with deliveries of food and stuff like that, and my wife's been working hard, and my carer's been coming in daily, even though she's got a daughter. So her school have been brilliant at social distancing. It's because she's a key worker, because carer's a key worker, obviously. And it's been fine, actually. Been fine. I can't wait to get back out there, but want to get back down the den. You know what I mean?
It's interesting how it's affected different people different ways, Ozzy.
Yeah, I know my friend. He lives in Shropshire. He put a video on Facebook the other day. He'd been shielding since before me, and he never went anywhere. And he done a little video of him going down to the shop where he lives, and he just said, "I've tried it. I don't like it. I'm going back." And he just went straight back home. And it's affected him that way, but I'm sure he'll be fine. It's everything's got to be baby steps, isn't it?
I'm glad you haven't gone stir crazy, Ozzy, because I feel like I did. Hi, my name's Bethany. It's lovely to speak to you. What do you make of our season, Ozzy? Did it finish how you think it would have done from the beginning, or even part of the way through?
It was frustrating in the end, I think, because we were just 2 goals away from the playoffs, 2 points away, and they sort of dangled the carrot for us, didn't they? Because it was good to be looking up for a change rather than behind us, and there were some great performances, especially away this season. Some home performances left a lot to be desired, but all round, I think the expectation, they've exceeded the expectation. I mean, I predicted 12th place at the beginning of the season in one of the Millwall groups. They was asking, where do you think we'll finish? And I predicted 12th place. So there you go, 4 places above that. Can't be a bad season, can it? And I think Gary Rowett's done a fantastic job, considering he had to take over from the legend that is Neil Harris. He settled in, and he put his stamp on the team pretty well, I think. And I think long may it continue.
Hello, Ozzy, it's Pat. You okay?
Hello, Pat.
Yeah. Coming back from lockdown, as you say, he was pretty good away. Not so impressive at home. But who, towards the end of the season, impressed you most? Who was your player of the year?
The player that impressed me most was Bart, the goalkeeper. I named him as player of the year. He got my vote for that because I think without him, we would have been struggling. I don't think we'd have been fighting relegation, but I think we'd have finished a lot lower down. And his saves this season have been immense. And when people notice the goalkeeper, then you know he's doing well. Because another friend of mine who sits in the Dockers stand where I used to sit, he's very slow in coming forward to praise keepers. But he said, well, missed it by 2 goals. So he's blaming the keeper for that. so yeah. But I'm goalkeeper fraternity, considering I played in goal for the teams I played for, and I'm in goal now for the team. So yeah, Bart got my vote, and also out on the pitch, I think Jake Cooper was immense, as well as Jed Wallace. Without those, they're through the spine. I think maybe when Wood came in, we had a good spine for the team, and it definitely improved. So I'm glad Wood's coming back. So yeah, but Cooper, Jed Wallace, even Murray Wallace for me, and Marlon. You could go through the side. Everyone, I don't think anybody's really let themselves down, apart from probably some of the forwards. But I'm not going to moan because we finished 8th. We really did over. We accomplished more than what was expected, I think is the words.
Hello, Oz, it's Ted here. You all right, mate?
Hi, Ted.
All right, mate. Yeah, I'll tell you what. That's a goalkeeping fraternity, isn't it? Don't matter how many you save; they only remember the ones you let in. That's why goalkeepers are brought up.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But we now got Joy Parrott. We've got John Daddy Bodvarsson, Matt Smith, and Tom Bradshaw. Not a bad little quartet as strikers, I don't think. I think the boy Parrott's going to be exceptional for us this year. But Rao said he still might need another striker or forward in. Do you think that's what we need, Oz, or do you think we need reinforcing elsewhere, or do you believe we need another striker and a bit elsewhere?
For me, again, we probably need another creative player in the middle of the park. And possibly another forward, because I think there is room for one. I know Troy Parrott coming in is really going to boost the side because of his play. He likes being inside the box, and that's a good thing. Obviously, he scored most of his goals from inside the box, and he needs to be fed the ball to feet. I think he's not going to be like Matt Smith. He's going to need the ball to be fed to feet, and that's what's prompted me to say we probably need another creative midfielder. I know we're talking about Jason Malumbi hopefully coming back, but until he's confirmed, we need to look elsewhere. I think just to cut the defence in half for Parrott to run onto.
Should have seen Bennett back, Oz? Mason Bennett? Yeah. He seemed to give us something different.
It would have been nice, but I think that option's gone now. So I think we've got to look where we're going and not worry about players that we can't get.
Yourself and Ted mentioned Troy Parrott there. What do you think about us securing him on loan for the season from Spurs?
I think that's a good thing. He seems to be a prolific striker, and I know he got 14 goals a couple of seasons ago for the under-18s. And the good thing is he's young. I'm all about giving youngsters chances rather than us getting players who are surplus to requirements, which we've had to because of finances. And I think, like I said, for the season, I mean, obviously Harry Kane's had a word with him because Kane mentioned that Millwall turned him into a man. So I'm sure Mourinho hopes this will do the same for Parrott. But it's good to know we can have him for the season, and hopefully he'll turn into a little bit of a mini legend. But I don't think he should start in the first couple of games, because I wouldn't want him to have a nightmare if he started and then he gets slated straight away. That wouldn't be good for him. I think coming on first couple of games from the bench would be good.
Well, my mate Ozzy, who's a Tottenham season ticket holder, and he goes and watches some of the under 23 games as well and whatever. He's told me, and he's convinced that the guy's going to score at least 20 goals for us this season. He believes he's that good. So let's hope he's right in that respect, mate. But Ozzy, have you got your season ticket yet, or you're going to get one? And how might the restrictions affect you as a wheelchair user, or will it be a better view for you, mate, with nobody jumping up and down in front of you?
Where I'm sitting, which is behind the dugout, in the wheelchair space there, the people in front of me can't stand up for long anyway.
I think you sit behind me.
So we're quite lucky. We are lucky in our block, because I remember the penalty shootout with Brighton. There was a few in our block down near the front was standing up, and everybody else was going, sit down. So they listen, and I'm quite happy where I am. So I don't think it'll affect me in any way. It'll be a strange atmosphere, but it would just be nice to get back down there. I see. It's not only getting tickets for football, getting for Millwall, getting my season ticket. It's also, even if I want to go to see a live show, you always have to phone up, and the reason being, you have to. Sometimes you have to prove that you're disabled, and obviously they need to know what sort of disability you got, and what sort of space you need, and if there's any help you need. So you can't just go online and purchase a ticket. So that gets frustrating. But Shola has helped me. I emailed her really early on because I wasn't able to get a ticket. But she's mentioned that she phoned me the other day, and she's mentioned I think I might be safe, and hopefully I'll be getting a phone call in the next couple of weeks to start and purchase my ticket.
You mentioned Shona there, Oz. I mean, I think she's been working really hard, helping everyone out, taking calls. As you say, she called you, which is really good of her. I mean, I think she's working really hard down there. Yeah,
with Shona, yeah, definitely. She's working really hard. She's got a tough job, especially in these circumstances. So yeah, she's been really a good contact to have. Yeah,
so, if you've got a prediction of where we're going to finish next season, do you think we're going up?
I'd like us to be in the playoffs, but what I don't want is us to be struggling, because I remember a season. I think we when I was in hospital that season, we like I said, we've done well. Was doing well before. Went in hospital, and then I think it was when Ian Holloway was manager. We ended up struggling the season after, but I think that was the season I was in hospital. And Ian Holloway actually wrote to me, which I'll always be grateful for. I put his letter on me wardrobe door that I had allocated to me, and I kept that up all the way through my stay at Stoke Mandeville. So I'll always be grateful for him. I know he isn't very popular, maybe not as a manager, but as a man, I think he's a gentleman. I think we finished 7th when Neil came in. We finished 7th, and then we were struggling the next season after that. So I don't want us to have a good season then a bad season. So if we make the playoffs, that'd be wonderful. But anywhere mid-table, again, let's be looking up this season rather than behind us.
Obviously, last year I was saying I'll be happy to stay in the Championship at the start of last season. This year, I'll be disappointed if we're not in the top 10, to be quite honest.
Yeah, like I said, if top 10 would be great, playoffs would be wonderful. But if automatic promotion happens and we can fight for that, then that'd be a more excellent season, wouldn't it? We just got to get a really good start, 5 or 6 wins, just so we're up there and staying away from the relegation zone at the beginning would be great. Because if we get stuck in the mud down the bottom, it would be tricky to get out of, especially with teams coming down this season. I think they're going to have some stronger sides in there this year. I mean, 3 points has gone straight away with Leeds when we beat them at home. And 6 points are gone because Charlton have been relegated. So we've got to find those points elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, great, Ozzy. That's great hearing your views. Thanks for coming on the show. But before you go, just one last question. Do you think Troy, Bradshaw or Smith will be the leading scorer this season?
I think Matt Smith will still be up there because of the set pieces, and again, depending on Rowett's tactics, if it's either him coming off the bench and scoring a header, then so be it. But I still think he'll get us 10 to 12 goals, and I think it might be shared around this time round. But I think Smith will just nick it, because if he gets 10 to 12 goals like last season, I hope the scoring will be shared around. You know, so I think he'll just nick it.
It's interesting you talk about Smith, and Cooper was saying today that he's been used as a lot of a decoy for Smith's goals, hence why he scored a few goals this season, because people were more leaning towards Cooper because they know him from the past, and it's worked towards Smith.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that. I mean, it was good to see Jake Cooper getting up front, because he probably shocked a few people, especially the defences, when they see him coming in from the left-hand side. Because where I sit, the strange thing is seeing Murray Wallace and Jake Cooper link up. I mean, you've got 2 centre halves on the left, and it's a strange tactic, but it works, and I think Smith has benefited from that as well. So yeah. I mean, like I said, Smith he ended up being top scorer, which ain't a bad, considering the amount of starts he made. It's not a bad thing for him.
Well, thanks, Ozzy. That's been absolutely brilliant. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye, Ozzy.
Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Ozzy.
Okay, Ozzy. Thank you. Right, guys, we'll take a break there and listen to the pleasing dulcet tones of the one and only Patricia Muslin.
Hi, Patricia Maslin here. The Millwall Community Trust needs volunteer help. Whether you're an organisation with bodies able to assist or an individual, the Trust needs you during the current conditions to support the vulnerable and needy. Current projects include providing 200 children each day with a hot and healthy meal as part of free sports and education camps over the summer, and providing assistance to those that need continuing support at this time. If you can help make a difference or need help, please contact Sean Daly, the Trust's Chief Executive Officer, by phone on 07 958 027060. Once again, that's 07 958 027060. Or contact by email sdaly, I'll spell that, SDALY, at millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. I'll repeat that, sdaly, SDALY, at millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. If you can, or you know someone or any organisation who might be able to help, please let the Community Trust know. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat, and please help where you can. People continue to lose their lives to this dreadful virus, and many remain hospitalised too. Our thoughts go out to their families, friends, and those that take care of them too.
Right, and next week it will be Dave, Stan and James who will be with you next Friday when the first sacking of the new season takes place, and I don't particularly agree with it. Gary is out the hot seat and Eamon is in. Sounds like you'll have a peaceful night with those three, Eamon, anyway. But mind you, there's a few Herberts around James's house, so it could be a bit lively. Anyway, it's a good night from me.
Well, our new home kit is still only available to pre-order online. Let's hope that we have some availability before the season starts, but we do live in very strange times right now. Other items are also available, including a No One Likes Us 1885 t-shirt and much more. Give it a look and see what you can get your partner, your kids, and anyone else you can think of by visiting the Millwall website and clicking on the Lions Store tab. And that's good night from me.
And player sponsorship for the Lionesses is available for the forthcoming season. Why not give them some added support? You can find the details on their website. Just put Millwall Lionesses into your browser and you'll find them easy enough. But for now, that's good night from me.
Lastly, let's not forget to stay safe out there on the streets, which means social distancing and a face mask where necessary. That's it from me. Thanks, Patricia, Ted and Bethany. Until the next time, good night.